You know, it's funny. I remember probably about 7, 8 years ago, in which fighters would want, you know, $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 to be on their shorts and on the banner, and now, same guys, like you said, 1,500, 2,000. It's a battle for some of them.
I'm talking about collectively.
Collectively, like they're lucky to get 500 from one guy.
Yeah, and one of them, like to be completely honest, like one of them is like I've heard people like different countries and all that, and just the idea of a buddy of theirs, you know what, has a auto shop or something like that. Here's $500, put your so and so thing there. But honestly, again, like I said, I'm in it for all of us. There's a lot of people that came before me. There are a lot of people that came after me, or are going to come after me. And I think if we set up something that just financially makes us actual professional athletes, I'm all for that. And that's why I think this Reebok deal could be a really good thing. I think that it brings us in closer to that mainstream point in the idea that when you see a Premier League, when you see what's called a basketball league, you see the swoosh, you see the Reebok, you see the whatever it is. And who's not to say that the muscle farm is not going to be on the other side? So the actual income, economics could actually grow. I think it's actually could be a potentially good starting point of where we all actually are starting to make, dare I say it, baseball money, which is a long way away.
Well, yeah, that's
I mean?
A long way. I think right now you guys are making MLS money.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the most accurate.
Again, it all depends on the person, because like for instance,
It
like
does.
I'm not relying just on my UFC amount of money. I'm diversing the brand that is myself.
When you got into this, you got into the UFC, you know, you had to have known. You hear these stories. You see the stories of fighters. Oh, you know, we didn't make this, we didn't make that. We also see the physical toll that it takes. Is it for the love of the sport? Did you do it like, you know, become rich? Or, you know, you are ultra successful so far, so there's no reason to believe. Do you have your eyes on the prize? You believe that, you are one of those special 10, 20 guys that will be ultra successful.
Well, that's obviously the hope and plan. And again, the first so-and-so fights, I think it's 8 fights I had before the Ultimate Fighter. It wasn't about money, it was about the opportunity of money. It wasn't for about this very second, it's about the end goal, the end dream, the end plan. And I honestly put 3 hard years into it to be successful.
How did you get into MMA? As a teenager?
No, I just started right after my first year of university.
After university, so what? You just,
21.
You know what, I want to try this, so no wrestling, any sort of, no.
Like 6 weeks in karate when I was 13.
Nothing. You were like, you're just a dude that said, you know what, I want to try this?
No, I was like I was basically the best way to describe it, like I was a pretty successful amateur skateboarder. Like the equivalent what AM and pro is for MMA. So I was like a semi-pro skateboarder when I was a little kid. But that was all. That's what I did. You know what I mean? Traveling across the states and whatnot, competing and blah blah blah, and seeing some cool things back in the day. But no, right after the first year of university, I was enlightening the mind. Thought the body should follow, and I just fell in love with it. Again, it's not a long. I don't think duration should necessarily be how many times or how many years you put in, but how many times you've been on the mat. And I've put a hell of a lot of work into it.
Now, John Fitch has put a hell of a lot of work into this, and we see John Fitch, the battle that he went through the other night with Paul Harris. And I loved your tweet, actually, one of the funniest tweets, almost sad, but when you said, John Fitch is in this atheist's prayers. That's pretty slick stuff there, Elias. It's not bad, man.
Something like that. No, it's just the idea that like he's a journeyman, and he's put so many miles on his body, and obviously for the love of it, obviously for the pay of it. He's one of the more successful ones, and now towards, I guess one might say the
end.
To some extent, the end of his career. You just hate to see someone go out like that. I want every single fighter to kind of go out the same way GSP did, out in the sunset. Not too many people do that, you know what I mean? And especially in athletic sports, the idea of going out on top.
So you're not going to be one of these dudes, you don't want to hang around till you're 37. You're not going to have like 52 fights then.
No. What's it called? For me specifically, like my end of plan is the idea, just the power of being able to call it quits on my own. Choosing my destiny is what I'm all about, like calling it quits. Not many people have the power to say it's done when they want it to be done, and that's what eventually I want to do.
So you're coming off a win. You're coming off a win against Santos. There's rumors, and you know, generally when there's cards in Canada, they like to put the Canadian fighters on the card. There's some cards coming up in Canada this this spring, right? Windsor's on the docket supposedly. Montreal's on the docket. Are you guys aiming to be on the March cards?
Yeah, March. March is specifically when I wanted to go. I've been kind of, again, it's funny because like how big the UFC is, there's always things on the go, and there's always things that they're still dealing with stuff that needs to be done in January. There's still fights in January. The Diaz fight is their bigger concern rather than March, right? So,
Dana's thinking an hour ahead,
exactly.
or a half hour ahead.
Exactly. Again, it's as big as it is, it's very micromanaged as well. So it's just basically a conversation that we have between my management and myself with Joe Silva and so forth. And we said that we wanted to fight as soon as possible, and it's around that time is when they're looking because of the idea of possible Canadian fights, and it obviously makes sense to put me and other Canadian talent to be the face of the punching and kicking that evening.
So is it difficult in between fights to stay in shape but not to overwork, right? It must be one of these tough like juggling jobs in which you can't burn yourself out if you're fighting in March and you're going balls to the wall all the time. But
I make that noise too. I make that noise too the whole time.
Balls to the wall all the time. But at the same point in time, you also can't kick back and stuff your face through the holidays, right?
No.
You got to...
best of both worlds. Again, it's moderation in anything, right? So what I would say is, and I've kind of been working on the extremes because it's, again, extreme focus, fight, eating properly, and then afterwards, party time. You know what I mean? I was eating whatever I want, blah, blah, blah. You got to have that moderation in between. I'm a professional athlete, and after the big, what's it called? The big win, obviously, for the Ultimate Fighter, you work hard, you play hard, and the stories I have to tell are priceless.
I've heard some pretty crazy stories.
But that's neither here nor there.
David Busters and all kinds of crazy
stranger things have happened. But with that being said, after this last fight, again, it's just the idea that big one, again, it was the build-up where I couldn't talk about it. The build-up, I couldn't talk about the Ultimate Fighter, and then I couldn't say if I was in the finale. Then I win the finale, and I got some partying to do. I got some catching up to do. I got some celebrating to do, and celebrate the victors of your spoils. You know what I mean? In that regards.
How cool is it? How proud were you?
Ridiculous.
To raise that trophy, man. Like, how validating was it?
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. It's just the idea. It was an accumulation of all the hard work between myself and all the people behind me. And honestly, it kind of like validates, again, telling my parents, who are both educated people, both very successful in their own rights, telling them I want to be a professional puncher and kicker right after I finished, like halfway during my BA, they didn't get it. You know what I mean? And then, funny story, right as soon as I got my piece of paper, I took the picture with my parents, they took me to the airport, and I got a flight to Thailand saying that this is what I wanted to do.
So you better have been good at
it. I mean, yeah, exactly. But it's cool now where my mom, she's very proud, and like different things that kind of like accumulate, I guess, the sort of recognition, not only in the cage, obviously. For instance, like my mom just emailed me today, said she wants a couple signed pictures for a couple of her clients or whatever like that. Also, she brings some of the Harlan Quinn romance novels that I've been on.
Right.
She'll hand them out. She'll hand them out at work or whatever like that.
He's also a romance novel cover guy as well.
8 times.
Yeah, you know what? We were just talking about pay in the cage, right? You got to get paid where.
Got to get paid wherever you can. I'm doing a music video on Thursday.
Really? With who? What?
I can't talk about it just yet.
No,
but
secret, eh?
Yeah, I play boyfriend.
No scoop. You're the boyfriend. Eh?
Yeah.
All right. So is it female artist then?
No, it's just in the background. We're just the part of the whole thing. But it's going to be a good time.
Right, so we'll watch for the video coming up. So listen, we're out of time already, man. Wish we had more time to run a gauntlet with you. Quick fight picks. Dalloway goes to Brazil. He should just move to Brazil because he always fights there. It'd save him a lot of time against Machida. Wrestler, any chance there?
I think he has a chance. Again, it's the idea that where Machida is in regards to his career. CB has been looking really good.
Red hot.
Yeah, I mean, so he has a good base. Wrestling's a great base. And it just depends on, is Machida going to be that elusive, can't catch me, pow, got you. It just depends on where Machida is. And CB could really catch on that.
Yeah, Machida's a huge favorite, and Mitch Gagnon gets an opportunity.
Yes, huge opportunity.
Big opportunity here. Tough spot. Barrow's got a hell of a lot to prove, man.
Exactly.
I mean, the guy just lost everything overnight, basically.
Yeah. No, for sure. And honestly, it's a huge win-win for
Mitch.
Mitch, exactly. And the idea that he wins, he's the next name. It doesn't
Yeah.
make any sense. Why not?
No, he's
but
in the title talk.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he's fighting a guy that lost via TKO and then slipped and fell in a bathtub the next try. So you got to see the mental readiness of Barao, and it's whenever this would be the best time to take on a weak Barao.
Well, here he is, man, the Ultimate Fighter winner. Hey, congratulations on all the success, man. Thanks a lot, Elias, for coming in the studio, man. It's always a pleasure seeing you.
Pleasure's all mine.
MMA Meltdown on the Fight Network continues. Thanks a lot to Elias Theodorou for kicking it with us in studio. Really enjoyed tonight's program. Let's wrap it up with our videos of the week. We've got some good ones this week. Remember a couple of weeks ago I told you about the Anthony Pettis off the fence kick fail? Well, we found it, and it's freaking awesome. The dude went on to lose the fight. He actually pulled the video off of the internet, but we found it. We found it. It's too good. It's too good. Like, he's just too big. You're too big for that, dude. You're too big for that. All right, this is actually one of the, this is an awesome knockout. This is from Thailand. Bare-fisted, they're doing it over there in Thailand. Check out this vicious kick to the head. That's badass, man. That's like Van Damme, that's like movie type of stuff right there. Speaking of which, I don't want to see Gina Carano and GSP doing a movie. The original movie's good because it's grimy, not because they're, Gina Carano and GSP, what, they're making $13 million for that? It loses the essence. But let's wrap it up. And once again, thanks to Elias for joining us in studio. Thanks for watching. Let's wrap up the show with the nastiest nose break you're ever going to freaking see. Watch it gush. Other than that, you're on your own.
Hard kick to the knee of Kresnik. A beautiful knee to the side of the head, and that really did hurt. Kresnik, he's on big wobbly legs, Kieran.
That come right underneath.
He's a big
right on his
split.
nose.
Across the nose. His nose is absolutely, look at that.
That's going to have to be put back in
Oh
place.
my
I'll tell you
goodness,
what.
that looks like plasticine, doesn't it?
That is absolutely horrific, and that just shows the power. Because